Jeet Kune Do does not have forms. Or does it? One of the most common things I hear or see on the internet in relation to Jeet Kune Do, Bruce Lee, and forms is that Jeet Kune Do, as taught by Bruce Lee, does not have any forms. I'm here to tell you that that is technically correct, which is the best kind of correct. So I've had a couple people ask for a dictionary or terminology kind of esque video. So I thought I'd combine two things into one. So the best way, in my personal opinion, isn't just to go through terms and say, this is Pak Sao, this is Lap Sao, this is Tan Sao, this is Bu Sao, is actually to use a form. Now, the origins of this form are up in the air, but it is a form that is taught in Jeet Kune Do concepts. I've heard it originate from Yori Nakamura, who, of course, I'm sure got it from Sifu Dan, who probably in turn got it, at least in principle, from Sijo Bruce. Now, does that make the form any more or less valid? No. Does it kind of go in the face of those that say there are no forms in Jeet Kune Do? Yes. And I can hear you guys in the comments now.
But Ed, there are no forms in Jeet Kune Do. Bruce Lee went away with forms.
Yeah, I know that. It's fine. You're gonna like what I have to say about this particular form once we get to it.
But Bruce Lee did away with all forms, so I never have to do forms.
Yeah, I guess you're kind of right if you want to just do what Bruce did. Also, cocaine? Just saying it. You don't have to do everything that Bruce Lee did, and you don't have to do everything that Bruce Lee didn't do. I mean, it was the 70s, for gosh sakes. It's a completely different era now. It was almost 50 years ago. But I know a lot of people that teach Jeet Kune Do with two forms. Now, those two forms will kind of depend on the quote-unquote lineage. But one of those forms Bruce Lee did every day, and that form was Silam Tao. Silam Tao is a long form from Wing Chun. Now, Silam Tao isn't exactly my favorite. I haven't been formally trained by a Wing Chun person to do it and like yell at me and hit me with sticks while I do it. I'm pretty anti-forms, except for one form. And that form is Ung Moon. Ung Moon means 5 gates. And we divide the human up this way. We have a long line here, we have a horizontal line here, and then we have one more baseline here. What it talks about with these 5 gates is to how to simultaneously defend one gate and attack another. Defend a gate and attack another. But before we get into the nitty-gritty of that, I gotta change out of this shirt. It's a cool shirt. The Machado brothers, all 5 of them. I just went to the Machado brother camp. It was awesome. Highly recommend you guys go to the one next year if they have it. But this is pure cotton. I gotta get out of this. In North Carolina these days, it's at least almost 100 degrees every freaking day, and it's getting hotter and hotter. The world is on fire. That brings me to today's sponsor, xmartial.com. You guys know the deal. Go to xmartial.com, use the code Metrolina10. You can get awesome deals on rash guards, shorts, gloves, other various training accoutrements. I really like their rash guards. I like rash guards in general, especially when it's hot as absolute get out outside. And when you're in here in the dojo and it gets up into 78, almost 80 degrees inside the dojo, you're wearing a gi if you're doing some jujitsu, so you know it's gonna get hot. I particularly like the Goku brand, but I also like the solid black here because it makes me look freaking swole. Boom, look at that. So make sure to head over to xmartial.com, use the code Metrolina10. But let's get to the form Ung Moon. So I sympathize, right? I'm not a formsman. There's a video over on the Martial Arts Unlimited Association page where Judo Josh, JD, and myself are having a mini debate on forms. And I, being a non-classical martial artist, whatever that means, where I don't do any traditional karate or anything like that, I have 0 forms. Except I do have one. And that one, as we've stated, is Ung Moon. But they were trying to say that like boxing combinations is a form, and that was triggering the absolute get out of me. Like saying jab cross hook is a form is, I see what they're getting at, because like, yeah, maybe you don't go jab cross hook, you know, in an actual competition, but that actually works. Whereas if I'm going here, step in, touch, step out, boom, you can tell I know 0 forms. Like, so I get what they're saying, but you can watch that video and watch me get really, really triggered. It's up in the card. Whatever side the card's on, I'm not sure. Up in the card. I teach it for several reasons. I teach it for a list of terms so people can know the names of particular terms. Now, it's not like an anime where I'm gonna yell out my move as I do it. The form has 16 core movements plus A through H is how I break it up. So it goes 1 through 16 and then A through H, because 16 is just, they're all variations of one particular move. And there are better videos online that kind of talk about it. And then you can also go to marsonline.ronbalicki.com, my seafood Ron Balicki, he has it in his curriculum. So you can kind of get it there and kind of each individual move, but I'm gonna go over some of the core elements. So what the actual form does is it teaches me to go into my Baizhong stance here and then be able to break down the individual movements and hand positioning. Like it said, it's a 5-gate drill. So the first one is Tan Sao Da. So I create a Tan Sao here, which is the palm up block, and the Da, which is the hit here. So Tan Sao Da, and then it repeats on the other side. Tan Sao Da. Automatically, look at what I'm doing here. I'm blocking an attack that's coming from this side, so I can establish this position here, and I'm blocking attack that's coming on this side with the Tan Sao there. And I'm moving my center line, hi Jake, I'm moving my center line this way, okay? So you can actually defend it here and defend it here. But mainly, look at what it's making my hands do. I have a fist and an open palm, and then a fist and an open palm. So it's teaching me coordination, because if I ask somebody to simultaneously attack and defend, a lot of times, blah, their hands just kind of splay out, and they're not really entirely sure what it is they're supposed to do, right? This isn't necessarily bad if you poke them in the eyes. I have a whole video on that. Check it out on the card. But I want them to learn to punch and defend with an open hand block. So those two main reasons are why I teach it. Vocabulary and how to do what I do with my hands.
I'm not sure what to do with my hands.
One other thing besides hand positioning and a dictionary of terms that Ungmoon is good for is actually teaching the concept of Lin Sil Da. Lin Sil Da is the concept known as simultaneous attack and defense. For example, if you throw a hook and I tight cover and do nothing, that's fine. But if I tight cover and hit you at the same time, that's gonna make you rethink that hook. Ungmoon's entire principle is actually teaching that concept. I'm going to defend one sector while I attack in another. I'll defend another sector and attack in another. Same for the low lines, same for the middle line, same for defending the high line while I attack the low line, same for attacking the mid line and attacking the low line. All of these are options and teaching you on how to simultaneously attack and defend.
But Ed, if you teach Ungmoon, why don't you teach Selim Tao?
I don't teach it for a few reasons. One, I haven't been formally trained with it, so no one's hit me with a stick enough to like actually do it with the correct energy and things like that. And two, I'm not 100% sold on its applicability in combat. If you can make it work and find the correlations to make it work, let me know in the comments. I'd love to know how you make Selim Tao work. But Ungmoon is applicable, and here's how I teach it. I start stagnant, so we do the form as I was taught it. When you're here and you kind of go into your Baizhong stance or Yuchikum Youngma, and then you come into your Baizhong. It could be Baizhong with the right hand forward or the left hand. I'm left-handed, so my power side would technically be here, but I'm gonna be here for right now. And then you go through the subsequent moves. Tanda, Tanda, Buda, Buda, Hawang Pakta, Hawang Pakta, Gang Sada, Gang Sada, Ha Pakta, Ha Pakta, Loi, Wang Pak Buji, Loi, Wang Pak Buji, Noi, Wang Pak Buji, Noi, Wang Pak Buji, Noi Buji, Noi Buji, Loi Buji, Loi Buji, Toi Sao Buji, Toi Sao Buji, Go Lan Sao Da, Go Lan Sao Da, Lan Sao Da, Lan Sao Da, Lan Sao Da, Go Ha Go, Lan Sao Da, Go Ha Go, Pak Sao, Chik Dum Tek, Pak Sao, Chik Dum Tek, Kao Sao, Jut Tek, Kao Sao, Jut Tek, Buji Bong Sao Lap Sao, Chung Choi, Buji Bong Sao Lap Sao, Chung Choi, Buji Bong Sao Lap Sao, Gua Choi, Buji Bong Sao Lap Sao, Gua Choi, Buji Bong Sao Lap Sao, Lao Sing Choi, Buji Bong Sao Lap Sao, Lao Sing Choi, Buji Bong Sao Lap Sao, Jin Choi, Buji Bong Sao Lap Sao, Jin Choi, Buji Bong Sao Lap Sao, Sut Sao, Buji Bong Sao Lap Sao, Sut Sao, Beauty bong salapsal, sak kyu. Beauty bong salapsal, sak kyu. Beauty bong salapsal, wong jern. Beauty bong salapsal, wong jern. Beauty bong salapsal, jik jern. Beauty bong salapsal, jik jern. And then we would bow out. And that's the form. But seriously, if you guys want me to break down Angmoon move by move, I can totally do that for you in another video. Make sure to leave a comment if that's what you want. Now, doing the form in its entirety stagnant is basically just an exercise in, what do my hands do? And that's an important skill for beginning students to learn. In my humble opinion, it has value in the beginning of your journey. The next way I have them do it is on the dummy. So they do it stagnant first, then they do it on the dummy. The dummy's a little bit harder because you can go tan sao da, tan sao da. Or you can do it here, tan sao da, tan sao da. I don't like this because my arms are so kind of narrow, but I do like it when you split the difference here. Tan sao da, tan sao da. You could also just go completely outside, tan sao da and tan sao da. Or you can do it with the bu sao, right? So here you go, bu sao da, bu sao da. Or you can go to the complete outside, bu sao da, and then bu sao da. Ha wong pak da, ha wong pak da. Gong sao da, gong sao da. Ha pak da, ha pak da. Loi, wong pak buji, loi, wong pak buji, noi, wong pak buji, noi, wong pak buji, noi buji, noi buji, loi buji, loi buji, toi sao buji, go, sao da, will go, wong sao da, and so forth and so on. You could do the entire form on the dummy to a point. You know, you go buji bong sao, lop sao, chung choi. Buji bong sao, lop sao, chung choi. So you can make it work on the dummy. I have them do this mainly so they can get used to kind of sectoring off, because when you do simultaneous attack and defense, you need to be able to, you know, get off center line. Now, what do I mean by get off center line? I don't mean like I'm gonna defend here and attack like this. Like, I'm very narrow here, and this isn't gonna defend anything. But if I'm gonna defend a hit and then I get off center line here, now I have a chance at actually defense here. All right, so practicing Angmoon with a partner is a super important drill. Are you okay?
Sorry, I was trying to, but the sun's gonna make me
The sun's
squint.
gonna be, yeah, I'm gonna squint, it's fine. So, what's gonna happen here is just like we talked about with the first part where we're doing the split. So he's gonna throw a hook, and I just tan sao da. Then he throws the other hook, and I tan sao da. And then if he does like the low line attack, ha wong pak da, and the other side, ha wong pak da. Then he can go straight low, and I can go ha pak da, and then the other side. Now, it becomes more interesting like when it comes to the straight punches, because you have, you know, you have loi wong pak buji, loi wong pak buji, noi, and then the individual bujis. But that's actually not the ones that like get kind of difficult. Those are actually the lan sao. Go lan sao and lan sao. So one will actually be after the jab cross, it's here, and then I come in, there's the go lan sao da. If he does it again, bang, and then that's hit. If he does it now cross jab, where I'm here, it's almost like an inside gunting, but I'm going with the sut sao, and that gives me the go lan sao da. Now to get the regular lan sao da, it's actually off the pak lop. If I'm here and I pak sao, and he's here, I lop sao, lan sao da. So again, if it's here, pak lop, lan sao da. If it's the other side, it's pak lop, lan sao da. Then the go ha go ha go. That's kind of how to practice it with a partner. The ones that are the difficult ones, like I said, is a lan sao, where I can get here, but that's pretty much it. So that's practicing it with a partner. So now we have all three pieces. We have it stagnant, we have it on the dummy, and now we have it on the partner. So that's how I teach Angmoon. And it's one of those things that in the beginning, I'm kind of a stickler on it, because I want to make sure your hands are doing the correct thing. You're learning to simultaneously attack and defend. You're just learning how to move a little bit. And when I get a brand new baby martial artist, I need to make sure that they know how to move. And to me, movement is one of the most important things. That's what we're doing. It's the philosophy of motion. And then after you've done it stagnant and you can prove that you know that you know all these cool moves, you know their names, the best thing that you could do, and then after you do that, you could do it on the dummy, then after that, you could do it with a person. And lastly, you do the best thing for JKD, and you discard it. And that's what makes Jeet-Kune-Do so freaking cool. じゃあ皆さん、ご覧にいただいてありがとうございました。 このビデオいいねと思ったら LIKE ボタン押してください。もしかしてこのみたいなビデオをもっと見たいと登録してください。それとともに俺の顔をミスしないためにノティフィケーションズをついてください。次のビデオへよろしくお願いいたします。じゃあ皆さん、また後でパーティーオン。